Street Fighter X Mega Man, Street Fighter 10 Mega Man, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. Oh, for fuck's sake, they couldn't come up with a better title. I mean, just because the title makes sense in Japan doesn't mean it makes sense here, but whatever. In any case, it's a Mega Man fan game that's available for free download on Capcom's Capcom Unity blog thing, which was a hassle to get to appear for a while, but I managed it. For the sake of clarity, I'm reviewing the second version of this game, which introduced a number of fixes and other things, such as a password system that was lacking in the original release, Sagat as a hidden boss, and most importantly, I'm able to run the damn thing a hell of a lot better than I could the first version. Unfortunately, playing the game resulted in some audio issues. Music would play and then suddenly stop, certain sound effects would loop, and in some cases the game would slow to a crawl. Admittedly, this is more due to my ancient hardware than the coding itself, since any video on YouTube that you watch will show the game runs just fine. Funny thing is, despite my system being ancient by today's modern computing standards, it still somewhat surpasses the minimum requirements for this game. I don't know, I'm just happy I can finally play the damn thing in relative peace. In any case, Street Fighter Twin Stick Mega Man is essentially a fan-made game that mimics the old-school NES Mega Man gameplay, specifically Mega Man 4 with its chargeable Mega Buster and slide ability, and pits the Blue Bomber against various characters from the Street Fighter franchise, with 8 of them assuming the roles of Robot Masters whose powers you can acquire upon victory, and 5 more awaiting you in the final stages of the game, 2 of which you'll only face you if you score a number of perfect victories. In very general and very brief terms, it's a typical Mega Man game, but with very few recycled elements. Other than the obligatory hard hats and laser joes, along with 1 or 2 additional classic foes, the majority of the opposition are all new and unique to their own stages, and some of them are rather creative in terms of how you fight them, such as the Flame Beings in Ryu's stage, or the Reflector Orb things in Urian's stage. In terms of arsenal, you only have the Mega Buster as your default weapon and no chances of getting any accessories aside from the 8 master weapons. Fortunately, the levels are designed in such a way that you don't need any extras. Even the slide comes off as a bit excessive as it's rarely put to use other than to speed through a level. But hey, it's nice to have. While we're on the subject of levels, these are pretty challenging affairs actually. There's no magnetic blocks to be found here, and the levels are fairly straightforward linear affairs with very few deviations, but it's still a pretty challenging bugger, whether it's outrunning super lasers, navigating falling platforms, or just dealing with other things. The bosses also put up a good fight, each of them possessing an ultra move that they'll pull off whenever their revenge meter is maxed out. In general, it's a fairly tough game, but not necessarily impossible. All things considered, I guess there's no real point in discussing the game's graphics. It's 8-bit Mega Man, same Mega sprites, same clean pixel art style, nothing too extravagant or anything like that. Looks really nice at least. There's a few subtle touches here and there, the parallax scrolling type effect in Ryu's stage, for example, or the use of slightly more colors than what would normally be allowed on an old NES console of sorts. It's not all that groundbreaking, but it works well enough within the art style of the game. And of course the Street Fighter characters look alright, in this art style. I should probably chide the designers for recycling Mega Man and Roll sprites and just basing the whole sprite sheet on that, but apparently that's an art style in itself, so in that regard they look alright, I can't really complain. Sound effects are typical Mega Man, mostly recycled bits from the previous Mega Man games, although there's some minor additional voice bites for specific moves being performed, which is a rather nice little touch. The music in this game is surprisingly decent, although the majority of it is merely select tracks from the Street Fighter series recomposed in an 8-bit fashion. They're done in a way that mimics the musical compositions from various Mega Man games using subtle cues and instrumentations and things of that nature. So for example, there's bits of Flashman evident in Ryu's stage, Dhalsim's theme is reminiscent of Snake Man's theme, and even the stage select screen sounds like the one from Mega Man 3. It's a rather nice job done here to have these themes fit this world, and they sound pretty good too. For a freebie fan game, Street Fighter Expletive Deleted Mega Man is actually a solidly made piece of work, and the concept, if nothing else, is certainly unique for this type of Mega Man game. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel, nor is it its intention to reinvent the wheel. Its basic premise is to marry two of Capcom's most celebrated and recognizable franchises into one game, and the end result is a pleasurable experience. While a PC exclusive at the moment release might turn off a few folks that will rather play something like this on a console, it's definitely one worth checking out if you're into old school Mega Man games in general. It's pretty well done.